you doing?
How are you? I'm okay. A little bit fluish today, but otherwise fine.
Okay then, and you're in Bali at the moment. So what's the weather like there? I'm not there. I'm stuck in Australia.
Oh, okay. It's warm, very hot actually, sometimes up to 34, 35 degrees. And
Okay.
it doesn't really rain anymore because it's dry season already. So
Yeah.
the weather is good. The weather is good.
Well, that's great then. That's really good. Okay then. Well, thanks very much for agreeing to talk to me today on what's going on in Bali and what's going on with Pegasus, so that we can
Absolutely.
discuss a few of the things. And I've got some questions written down over here, so I appreciate the time today. I'm
Sure.
really interested more in what Pegasus are doing. So that was really good that you were able to speak to me today. Also, what I wanted to talk to you about too was you're one of the few women that own businesses and you're in Bali. So it's also be really good to get a woman's perspective on what's going on for Bali
Mm.
and from being in a woman's shoes, if you like, for how you get treated over there as well.
Okay, sure. Well, our company has been established for quite a while already. This year we have celebrated 19th anniversary and head into the 20th next year. Pretty much went through all ups and downs that Bali tourism industry has been into for all over these years, starting from the man-made disasters up to the natural ones. I would say having businesses in Bali, I think, is just exactly the same as everywhere else. You have your own challenges and you have your own advantages. Um, Luckily, the people here are fantastic, and you don't really feel that being a woman is a disadvantage to be in charge of the company. So I think that it is really a blessing to be working here and to be working with Balinese people and Indonesian people in general who are naturally well-mannered, polite, and basically they don't really bring you any trouble. Well, there are certain things you would want to improve, like if you have lived anywhere else before Indonesia, you would be used to a hectic lifestyle, being always in a hurry and, pushing things forward in sometimes when we don't have to. Here, probably it is a bit different pace. People are less in a rush. They enjoy the moment, not in a hurry, but I think with the proper training and establishing the philosophy of respecting other people's expectations, working with overseas markets, we reached the harmony where my Indonesian team can work in the pace that is expected by our overseas partners. So I guess it's not, I cannot say it has been an easy journey. Of course, I had moments when I wanted to quit at some point, and the last one
Don't
was
we all?
during
Yeah.
COVID, perhaps. Yeah. But I always think that it will impact a lot of lives. People used to work here. Many of them work with us since the opening. So they will have to look for something new, and maybe it is not the best time for them because of the age and family situations. So it always kept me going, thinking that I'm not the only one in the boat. So
So
that's how it
19 years, and you say you've had people working with you since the start. So you've had staff
is.
for 19 years.
Indeed. Yeah, we
That
do.
is phenomenal in itself. You also said that I don't know if you meant it by this way, but you said you celebrated your 19th year. Did you go out with the staff anywhere, do anything in particular?
We do. We try to celebrate every year, but of course, depending on the situation, uh, good times we can afford a really good overnight outing with the team, like we did for our 15th anniversary. We celebrated in Lovina in a hotel with the whole evening party on the beach and things like that. During COVID, it was very simple. We cooked and invited our hotel friends to come over and just share the home made food and
Best you
celebrate
can. Yep.
The anniversary, yeah. But this year on the 90th anniversary, we went to the ocean on board of one of the largest catamarans in Bali and had some fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, it was a nice trip, a sea trip. That's what we wanted to do, something simple, but maybe memorable because not everyone had a chance to do this kind of cruise experience, so we thought it will be nice for the whole
Oh,
team to
I'd
get
love to do
together
it as
and have
well.
it.
How do I get on
Yeah.
your Christmas list? It sounds like a great Christmas
Oh,
list to be on.
sure. We hope that our 20th anniversary will happen outside Indonesia. That
Yeah.
was the plan from the long time ago. Hopefully, all circumstances will align in the perfect way so we can have it. But for sure, we love the traditions of inviting our friends, suppliers, partners over to the office and do some small feast, yeah, handmade
Yeah.
food by different cultures. It's really fun and it makes people closer.
So you also said that being a woman in Bali, as a woman owner of a business, doesn't make any difference, which is really rare to hear. Not necessarily because of Bali, but I hear a lot of women saying that there's glass ceilings in other countries, and that being a woman in business is tough in other countries. And you're saying like it's business as usual. Respect is there.
Yeah, I'm very lucky. All my partners, suppliers from the hotel side or tour companies that we work with, they really do not make any difference how they communicate or address to our needs as their partner, whether I am a woman or a man. It's really great to work here, I think, because of the people's attitude. They really respect what you do, and they really look at your achievement regardless of gender. They
Yeah.
they don't really think that I can do less than a man could do in the same situation, but sometimes probably they even think I can do more
Yeah.
because tourism is a very sensitive industry. We work with people and we create memories. Wrong step can lead to bad consequences, spoiled vacations or anything else. Yeah, so sometimes, yeah, it really needs women's care,
Yeah.
and approach to have
Okay.
it right.
So everyone's going to be able to detect an accent. So you do you want to tell us where you're from?
Yeah,
And
yeah, sure. I was born in Russia and I have lived there until the year 2000, when I started to plan moving abroad. And 2001, I moved to Bali. So I celebrated my 22nd year with the island this year. I pretty much live here, I have not moved anywhere else in Indonesia except the inspection trips and vacations, obviously. So I guess you may understand from that my market, the market Pegasus Indonesia is handling, is mostly the tourists who are coming from the ex-Soviet space, yeah, all Russian-speaking countries or whoever
so back
belonged
would have
before
been
the
known as
Soviet Union.
USSR, is that correct? Back
Yes, that's
under
right.
the
That's right.
USSR? Yep.
Yes,
You have to be our age
ex-USSR.
to remember that, you know.
Yeah, you have to, indeed. Yeah.
That's right.
So,
So
yeah.
what I also have a lot where, unless you've been in Bali a long time, like I've only just started to notice that we sort of got there around 2015, so only 8 years at the most. And at around the 7-year mark, we started to notice that people would say to us, "Oh, that's okay for me. That's okay, Mr. Russ. They're only going to be here a short time, not like you and me." And you would hear that and go, "Oh, I'm part of the in crowd now." So did you notice that there was that time when where you had to do like an apprenticeship, if you like, in Bali before you were sort of accepted? Did you have that as well?
I don't think I felt that. I think I blended in quite quickly. The breakthrough was when I realized I can speak Bahasa Indonesia, which I never studied particularly. I never had tutor or teacher. I just listened to people speaking and asked the questions, obviously, when I did not understand what they meant or why they speak like that. So I think after that moment when I had an emergency phone call and I tried to explain something to the hotel reception where the receptionist did not understand at all what I was trying to tell him. And I switched to Indonesian. And then I understood that this is my country because, I was immediately understood and delivered the message I wanted to deliver. And from that moment on, I was never afraid or shy to speak Bahasa, even with mistakes, obviously, because I haven't studied it properly at the university or college. But anyhow, after this, I think all the remains of the walls, whatever were there, if
Gone.
any broken, were gone. Yeah. And
I've got about
I
100
found a
words.
part of.
I've got about 100 words, and I maybe coming from an English speaking background, and English speakers are very lazy. We go around the world and we just say,
Maybe.
who speaks English here? And someone will come out and speak English. So it's hard for me. I just can't seem to string more than 3 or 4 words together. I can go into a shop and say, I would like, say, eggs. And then they will start talking to me and I'm like, no, it's too much. I just want the eggs, like that.
Yeah.
The other thing is that you've also gone one extra. You married Balinese.
Not Balinese. Actually, my husband is coming originally from Sulawesi Island, but he was born in Java. So he is Muslim and he has been living in Bali longer than I did. He came before I came. So we both consider Bali our home,
Yep.
although we still bring different cultures into our family. But I would say Indonesian people are super flexible and
Yep.
it's very easy with them. They are always fascinated by things you bring to them and are always ready to share their own things.
Well, this is good because it shows the Indonesians you've married an Indonesian. And do you have kids?
Yeah, I have two daughters. One is 18 and another one is 9. Yeah,
So being
both are born
18 and 9,
Bali
and you
born.
said you got there in 2000, they've grown up in Bali.
Yeah, they've been born in Bali, both of them grown up in Bali. The elder one is studying in Melbourne right now. She's at the university already. The little one had her kindergarten and still in school here.
Yeah. So you said Melbourne. She's studying in Australia, Melbourne, Australia.
Yeah.
What is she studying? Just out of curiosity.
Media and communication.
Oh yeah,
So
that's what Melbourne is
yeah,
known for. Yeah, that sort of thing.
yeah.
Yeah. That's great. Okay, then. So I've got a few questions that we needed to get through. I don't think we've done much of that at all. So, okay. What year
Okay.
did Pegasus Indonesia Travels begin operations in Indonesia? That was, you said, 2002, because 2004,
2010.
19 years. Sorry, my
Yeah.
math wasn't that good. Okay, 2004. So you were in Bali about 4 years before you started the travel business.
Yeah, well, I worked here for 3 years. I have been working for other companies, travel agents, obviously. And then because I had too many ideas on how to develop my market, and it was a little bit difficult when you do not, when you do not have all the permissions and tools in your hands to do that. So my husband said,
You were from the same people, me, as I am.
yeah,
You do not play well with others. I need to have my own ideas out there. Right?
so that was it. And then my husband said, at that time we were married already, and he said, we are still young, let's do something ourselves. So we started our company, only him, me, and our executive manager now, Enrico. At that time he joined us, and I still remember our first peak season when we issued vouchers manually with him sitting on the floor in my house. So yeah, it was fun beginning, but we grew pretty fast.
So
Experience
you, your
different.
husband, and Enrico, I've spoken to Enrico a few times. I didn't
Yeah.
realize that he was there right from the very
Oh,
beginning.
he was there. He was there from the very beginning. We've
Sitting on
also
the floor
been,
doing vouchers.
yeah, we were.
Great. That's great. Okay. And I get that you have that niche market of Russians because you obviously are able to communicate with Russians. So that would be your main group nationality. What? Oh, not just Russians in general, but like you said, the whole of the USS, what used to be known as
Yeah.
the USSR. What is the main age group that you get?
Well, I would say our age groups differed from the start up to now, but anyhow, I think the best to put it is like 35 to 65. The most, I think this is the age when people that we have here travel the most. We do have
35 to
youngsters as
65. They have
well.
money. They have money at
Yeah,
that age.
they do. And we have young people as well, but it's not that many. I think young travelers are usually doing it all by themselves, not travel
Backpackers.
agents.
Yep.
Yeah, or yeah, they are more savvy with technology, they can go online, do the
Mm-hmm.
payment, things like that. People who work or business owners or people who don't really have time or skills to do these kind of things, they will go to travel agent, and that is our clientele. That's
Yeah.
whom we
We'll
usually.
organize everything for you. Yeah. Well, that's really good. Okay, then great. Thanks for that. So I've got my next question is, in your experience over the last year since the international visitors have been returning to Bali, has Pegasus Indonesia Travel seen are they seeing anything different? Are they back to pre-COVID numbers? Or, what have you noticed since, say, early 2019 to now? I know that's like a 4-year run over, but what have you got there out of that?
Well, the numbers are far from what they used to be. And of course, it is connected with the flights. As you know, Bali has not yet returned the complete flight composition that they used to have before COVID. Many airlines, even though they are flying to Bali, but they still do not do that number of flights as they used to do before. Also, from my market countries, they also do not have the full restoration of the flight network. So we are quite limited with the airlines that can carry the passengers from my market countries to Indonesia. And that, of course, limits the volume. Also, the ticket price after COVID, yourself, it has increased, and we
Yes.
don't expect it to be decreased at any time soon. So it also limits the level of the travelers who can afford coming to Indonesia, because you don't come here for 2-3 days. It's a long haul flight, expensive flight, and then you have to spend at least 10 to 14 days here to really enjoy the destination. So that is not cheap. But
How long does the
even
flight
though,
take? Sorry, Natasha, but how
how
long
long?
does, yeah, from anywhere,
Well,
or approximate from your USSR area to Bali, what sort of time frame are we looking at?
well, usually they will have to go to, let's say, Middle East first. Yeah, if we use the most famous carriers for our market, which are Turkish Airlines, Emirates, and Qatar. So the journey to that part of the world will take them roughly, depends on where they are located, of course, in CIS or Russia. Will take maybe around 5 hours. And then from, let's say, Dubai to here, it is 9.5 hours plus connecting time. So you travel pretty much 20 hours plus with
So
all.
one of your days is gone. If you've
One
got
of your days gone, yeah.
if you've got days booked for a holiday in that region, then you've got 2 weeks off. One day is traveling there, one day traveling back. You've got 12 days, and that's probably why you said 10 to 12 days is sort of what
it is
required.
So that's not a cheap tour right now. It will cost you some money. That's why what we'll see now, the tendency is people come to stay longer, they spend more, because I think they want to enjoy and really fulfill whatever they expect to get from this holiday. It's more upmarket that is traveling now to Bali, considering the airfare cost and everything. That is why, if we look at the numbers, yes, they will be maybe 7 to 8 times less than it was in
Mm.
2019. If we look at the revenue, it is much better.
Okay.
So from this perspective, as a business owner, I do not complain on the numbers. I know they will come eventually once the airlines will resume more flight operations, or newcomers will appear. Like, for example, Uzbekistan Airlines are starting to fly to Jakarta on 29th of April. So, you know, it will bring us a lot of market from, a lot of tourists from Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Kazakhstan, all that area. So we know that eventually we will come back to the volume that we used to have, but of course it will take some time. For now, we enjoy complicated itineraries, high demanding tourists, and good revenues as a result.
Okay, because I've noticed that with everything that I've done for the marketing of our business, it sort of lifted a little bit at 2022, dropped off, like it was like everyone that wanted to get out went, and then it dropped off very quickly. And what we then found is that no matter how much extra time we spend on SEO, marketing, and things like that, it just is a slow increment all the time. And it's like, I put it to pouring a glass of wine and you got to let it breathe. You can do as much work as you want and it might pay off later, but it's certainly not. Usually if I would do increase the SEO, or I would spend some money on advertising, I would see an immediate jump. Oh, we spent this much money, that's what happened. Now I can spend this much money and nothing happens. In fact, worse than nothing, we get no one even calling us, and you think, what's that about? We spend money, we're supposed to make money. And it's not quite like that yet. It's not, it just slowly increases. So we're tracking at better than 2022. However, it's sort of still only marginally better for us. So yeah, so interesting to see. Were you able to keep all of your staff from pre-2019?
Yes, we did. That was the main target for the company. We didn't care about cars or, you know, other assets that is easy to buy once you are back to your normal operations. But we were having one thing in mind, that just to keep our team, at least those who did not decide to go back to the islands, perhaps. But luckily, all of our team stayed. And what is most important, our foreign part of team as well, our expatriates that work with us and do the best service for our clients when they are here. And of course, very important is our guides. Pegasus is probably the only DMC in our market that has their own Russian-speaking guides as employees of the company, not freelance guides.
Most of freelancers or contractors. Yeah.
So we really, we are very proud of it. And we are very confident that with this kind of positioning, we can provide the best service to our clients, because these guides know our philosophy, our level of the service. They know what they can do, what is not supposed to be done, you know. And I just recently posted some of our guest reviews in our Telegram channel, and they are really fantastic. When you read them, you know, they mention the guide names, and they mention how well-bred they are and how well they can deliver the information. And it's really, really worth the effort we've made to keep everyone here during COVID and don't let anyone go anywhere. And yeah, it was, all the pain was worth it, absolutely.
Yeah, especially we thought, you know, or I maybe naively thought that we would have about, I'll be back in 3 months, you know, like that. And then for you to be able to hold that for 2 years and not know how long this is going to be. Your staff must be, I mean, they've stayed there for 19 years, most of them now, but they must be, they know your commitment to them now. So, which is, you know, they couldn't be thanked enough for anything like that. So well done on being able to keep the staff for that long.
Thank you. Yeah, we appreciate each other and we value each other. I'm sure likewise from my side, from their side, we understand all the efforts made. They held it tight. We did too, so everyone is here.
Yeah, great. All right, let's see then. So, what are the main attractions that your tourists, your people are asking for? That demographic, the 35 to 65 Russian speaking. What are they asking for when they come to Bali? What's their main thing they're asking for?
Well, we have created a number of different tours to different locations in Bali, and what we have noticed that they do really love a mixture of culture and nature. They like beautiful spots where they can take photographs, and they like to hear something meaningful at the same time. So most of the time, our best sellers will be our combination trips that are always individual and guided by our own guides that will show them the beautiful places in Bali, both nature and cultural pieces like temples and, holy springs and things like that. So the most popular tour, you will probably laugh at it, but the name is Instagram tour. That
Oh, no,
is,
it's all right. We have a tour for waterfalls called Instagram Falls, where
see,
we
yeah.
just go around and take photos. But then, okay.
We created it a few years back when the trend has become obvious and you could not ignore it anymore because people want scenic places, but also they don't want to go on a dull journey just to take photos. So we combine some of the beautiful places in Bali and also a visit to temples so they can also learn about the culture, why the entrance to the temple is narrow, why you have these figures in front and so on and so forth. They can, the guide can deliver that, but at the same time they will visit swings or waterfalls or monkey forests where they can have beautiful pictures and also interaction with the nature that is in Bali. We are also having very high sales for rafting adventure. This is something people of all ages like. And because the kids from 6 onwards can participate as well. So it's a favorite family,
Like
how to
water
say,
raft,
stand. Yeah.
water rafting. Yep.
So also apart from this, one of our favorites is Safari Park. I think it is beautifully arranged in Bali, and you can really have experience from all the educational shows there. This is not an entertainment show. This is a show that shows you why we have animals that are extinct and why the elephants in Sumatra are in danger. It's a lot of things. So it's learning for the kids especially, but for adults alike.
Yeah, I just wrote it down. I've lived in
Yeah.
Bali, like I said, 8 years or more, and I have never been to the safari park.
Oh, you have to go.
Yeah,
You
I've
have
put
to
it on my list. It's already on the list.
you
I think
should.
what was there for me is seeing all the stickers on cars in a lion safari park, and I'm thinking like, oh man, it must be just full of tourists. Like that's all I thought.
It is full of tourists, but if you take a jeep and you have a time when you go with the ranger driving you around the park and you can feed the zebras, the
Yeah.
buffalo and animals around you, and you are just you and your family or your friends in this jeep, it really makes the experience different. So we mostly do these kind of tours for our guests and they love it. Absolutely.
Okay, well,
And
it's
of
definitely
course,
on my list. So thanks for that.
yeah. And of course, volcano sunrise is also becoming super popular over the last years. Although I could not say that all of our clients love trekking,
No,
not at all.
that was part
Not
of the
the type
reason
of
we
the
changed
best.
the name. We used to call it the 4x4 Sunrise Trekking Private Tour. And we got people saying to us, trekking? Nah. Next, like
Yeah.
that. And I was like, what other word could I use? Hiking. No, there's nothing nice about the word trekking and hiking. And I thought I couldn't call it a walking tour. So what else can I do? And I just went, I'm just dropping it. So we started calling it the 4x4 Sunrise Sensation Private Tour. And the reason we did that was you go and see a sensational sunrise. That's what you go there for.
True.
Don't worry about
Yeah.
the 45-minute hike like that. Like that you got to do. So yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's anyway beautiful, no matter what is walking is involved. Some people are up to it. and they are ready to wake up early, you know, and go just to witness this beauty of nature. We don't know for how long we're going to keep that, right? I mean, everything
Yeah.
changes in the world, you know,
Yes.
beautiful places become overcrowded, polluted, and so on. So I think while we can enjoy those things, we should.
Yeah,
It's really
exactly.
magical
There was a lava
place.
cave
So
there, a lava tube there, and we were taking all of our guests there, and now it's gone. It crushed, fell in on itself. No one can see it anymore. I'm glad that I saw it, but yeah, I've got some photos, and I can't even use them for advertising anymore because there is
it's not there.
no place to go and see anymore. Okay, then, so that's good. So you've got the rafting, the which I've done that twice. I have probably 3 times, and I haven't been to the safari park. So there's some of your big things, and the sunrise sensation tour is good for you as well. You'll be happy to know for your guides, we're right now developing a book, and we're about a week off finishing it, of all of the knowledge about the Patua area and all of the misconceptions that, you know, there was this many it erupted on this date and this date. No, it didn't. These are the dates. So we've got all of that coming out. So we'll be able to get that over to your guides as well, so they can have a look at that. They'll be able to use that and change it into, rather than just sit in the car and go, yeah, they're black rocks. That's lava. Rather than that, they've got dates and things and everything that happened. I'm looking forward to that being finished. We actually had it checked by a volcanologist, a legitimate volcanologist, who has just sent back to me last night all of the changes that need to be made. And when they're done, we're ready. So you'd imagine sometime over the weekend, but within a week. So I'll be able to send that to you. Okay, so we've got a couple more questions. What problems do you see coming up for the Indonesian tourism industry, if any? Do you see anything coming up?
Yeah, I think the major problem is over tourism. I have been speaking about this on many occasions in different meetings and conferences. What we see, I'm talking particularly about Bali, yeah, because the other areas are still underdeveloped. We are talking here about over tourism that creates a lot of problems. Apart from the problems with the pollution and, you know, how to say, not enough infrastructure, the roads and everything else, crowds, traffic jams, and so on. Another problem is that it really ruins the beauty of the place.
Yes.
Because Bali has to be enjoyed individually in peace. You know, you can't be in a huge crowd and enjoy it, because it's totally different sensation. You probably will go to Colosseum in Rome and you will be fine to have a crowd around you, because it's a place where the crowd is supposed to be and it used to be, and will give you that feeling even better probably. In Bali, you have to be alone with the nature, with your group of people, your family.
Just walking around the volcano crater, you're walking on a road, a track this wide, and there are yet, like, there'll be 1,000 people up on top of that mountain sometimes, you know, and you think,
that is
this is the way it is up there.
What I'm talking. Yeah, over tourism, we need to really control the quality of the people who come and also the quantity. We are a small island. If we are a big, how to say, island, maybe 5 or 6 times larger than Bali is, it's a different story, but we are tiny.
5,780 square meters. Is that
exactly?
5,780, I think, square kilometers, I mean, sorry.
Yeah. So, you know, having this much of tourists is, well, the tourism ministry perhaps will say it's a blessing, because we need this number of people coming into Indonesia. They have a plan, but I guess we need to have fair distribution. You know, we need to develop other areas, so people do not really target Bali only as the vacation spot, but also, you know, look forward to visiting something else. And actually, that is something we have been working as a company for a very long time. We always encourage our agents to sell other islands. We say, do not be afraid. We are here. We will build your logistics. We will advise what's the best, what's not advised to be done, but just go beyond and make them travel around Indonesia, because Bali is beautiful, but we ourselves ruining this beauty, especially when it is uncontrolled, you know, charters with huge number of people who paid only like $200 or $300 for 4 days in Bali, you know, together with airfare, and bring huge buses. It's really not what you expect.
We see it as well, like for especially at Mount Batul, we see it where not everybody, and we can't be saying this generally, but not everybody pays the conservation fee. And we know that because what we have to charge for a tour, and then you'll get somebody else go up in a Jeep and charge 350,000 and take 3 people, and you go, but the conservation fee is 100,000 per person. How do you make any money? They're either not paying it or they're, you know, like, and it's just killing the area. And we can see it because if there's 1,000 people up the top easily, and then we buy our next conservation fee the next day, and it's only 50 numbers further on, you didn't sell 1,000 tickets yesterday, you sold 50. You know, like it's easy to see then, right?
Yeah.
Not many people are paying. So so that's interesting to see, because what you're basically saying is, yes, I'm a tourism company and I would love to get lots of tourists here, but not that many, which that's good coming from our end, right? Normally we would be saying, yes, just bring them.
Yeah, we have to control, because we understand that the more we have at some point, you know, the water will overflow.
Yes.
And that will not be a good thing for anybody. So you play with less volume, better quality, and let everyone enjoy the beauty that Bali has and
it's interesting. I've sat on the plane on the way home and I've seen people write down country you were mainly in, and they write Bali. And I say to them, you know, Bali's not a country, right? Yeah, it is. No, Indonesia is the country. Bali is not its own country. Bali is like a state. Really? Like, so they don't know anything even exists outside of Bali, which is always amazed me. Okay, one last question with only a couple of minutes to go. What advice do you have for any international clients that want to come to Bali? What have you got for them? Of course, book with Pegasus Travel, right? But what have you got?
I think, first of all, come with open heart and open mind, because it is totally different culture. Just try to absorb it, accept it, and enjoy it, because it is absolutely beautiful. I always call Bali one of the main chakras of Earth. So tune yourself in the right energy and you will get all the benefits of self-rediscovery and reconnection.
I like that what you said is good. People will understand that, get that inner feeling.
Number 2, book as many days as you can afford in Bali, because it's never enough.
Yeah, that's right. Very good. Very good. And as many days as you can get off to come here. Make the most of the time while you're here.
Indeed.
Well, what I'll do in the notes at the bottom of this video, I'll put down your website details and stuff like that, so that anyone can contact you. And we're also going to be sending this out to all the agents as well, so they can see what is there for you as well. And I just wanted to say thanks very much for your time today. And you jumped in at the first one, so you're very brave for getting in and being the first one. We're going to ask very similar questions of other agents in the future, and we expect them to be wildly different. But what we just wanted to see was what your views are, and then compare them to others and see if we can get the tourism industry all working together, and then say, this is what we need. So
thank you very much.
No worries.
Thank you for the initiative, and please do share the link to the video to me as well. We will publish it.
Of course, I'll send you the raw copy as well, so you can do with it what you want as well. And then I'll add my bit on the front, and then I'll put it up on YouTube and then link it for everybody to see.
Perfect. Thank you so
much. I'll remind myself, I've got to send the book to you that we're working on, book to Pegasus, so that your guides can get some inside knowledge of what they can know about before they get up there.
That will be very useful. Thank you.
All right then. Thanks very much for your time, Natasha.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend.
Have a nice weekend. Yeah, thank you. You too. Bye-bye.